Welcome to my video about a little something I'm doing. This project has been going on and off for a year now, and it feels like I'm just getting started. Today I'm going to introduce you to everything I've already built so far, the problems along the way, and how I want to continue this project. I've always wanted to build stuff and invent things. Ever since I started in a metal workshop as an apprentice, I started thinking to myself that I could now build whatever I dreamt about as a kid. All my inventions and creations could become reality if I decided to. Well, the time I decided to start with my first project came 3 years later, when I was almost done with my 4-year apprenticeship. I started a little more than a year ago by building the base rocket stove and the boiler to make a steam-powered generator. The problem with the boiler was that it restricted the airflow so much it didn't work properly and basically choked the stove out. The only logical reason was to build a bigger stove so that the air could move freely around the boiler. So I went with the same stove and forced induction, because building a new stove would have been too much work. First, I needed to choose what kind of forced induction I would use for this project, and I ended up choosing the radial air turbine design. I started off designing the housing on paper and built it after work in the workshop. While welding it together, I got a little too excited and put the part where the bearing needs to sit on the wrong side of the housing. But because I was winging it the entire time anyway, I left it that way and put on some nuts to eventually secure the turbine cover to the housing. After finishing the housing, I asked a friend if he could build me a ball bearing seat I could weld to the housing. And then we tried to build a turbine shaft out of stainless, but we failed when we tried to tap an M8 thread, I believe it was, and it just broke off all the time, so we took some mild steel and now it's rusting. The next was the aluminium turbine. I just took a square base and grinded it down to what kind of resembled a circle and drilled the holes to mount it to the shaft. The fins got welded on, and then the turbine got crooked because of all the welding. But since it's aluminum, it will self-clearance against a stainless steel housing, no problem. I tested the turbine out of the housing with a drill, and it was moving crazy amounts of air. A coworker called me crazy and got a little scared. Anyways, I mounted the turbine in the housing and tested it over the weekend. A little problem was that the screw holding the turbine to the shaft loosened by itself when I let go of the drill, because of all the momentum the turbine was carrying. It was a design flaw I fixed by simply adding some thread glue, kind of. But when it held on and on full power, the rocket stove went almost fully red because it was glowing hot. Soon as I put in the boiler, it just started smoking again, which meant back to the drawing board. I honestly didn't know how to solve the problem until I came across a video by Hyperspace Pirate on him building a steam turbine with a flash boiler. So I came up with a brilliant idea to use a flash boiler all by myself. I'm so proud of me. I then started to build a chamber the heating coil could fit in to, which may have escalated a little. Before closing it up, I made a heating coil out of some small diameter stainless tubing I bent with a propane torch and welded it together, so I hope it's kind of airtight. On the input side, I added some square tubing as a kind of water tank for testing, and on the output side I just bent it upwards to see if it would work. After heating the stove up, I poured some water into it, which resulted in a pulsating stream of steam and water. This probably happened because as the water turned to steam, it also pushed the fresh water out of the input until the fresh water then pushed it down again and through, and so on. Gay homo. The only solution I could think of was connecting a pump to the input to push the steam and the water through the coil. That's where I currently sit with this project. Adding the water pump is next on the next task on my to-do list, which I should probably test out sooner rather than later, because I'm almost done designing my steam turbine. If my 2-bar pump doesn't work, I have to get a stronger one, and if that also doesn't work, I just have to get a stronger one, and if that doesn't work, I just have to get a stronger one. The exhaust of the fire currently, I just release straight into the sky. In the future, I plan on installing a waste heat system, which I will line with copper tubing. Through these copper tubings, the steam will absorb even more energy from the firewood to try and make this contraption more efficient. If you have any questions or inputs, share them in the comments, or if you want dedicated videos to the different parts, just let me know. I will continue to document this project here on YouTube if you like and subscribe or not, but I would still really appreciate it if you would. Thanks for watching to the end, and may many great ideas cross your mind.